Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly update video for OSRS. Now this week we do see a little bit of changes. First I even noticed, and this is why there wasn't a video for it I think it was last week, or maybe the week before, but instead of this being listed as an update, it was listed as a community. I do apologize for that one video I missed. But this one is here, and we do have some issues in hotfixes that were all three resolved. So the issues, I will say, are the logout timer was increased from 16 cycles, so 9.6 seconds, to 20 cycles. It has been resolved. The second one was leagues only. Last recall was not teleporting you correctly within the new Calfight Queen instances. And the final one was they saw reports of players in single-way combat being able to attack a player within multi-way areas while already in combat. So those have been resolved, so keep that in mind. So now there is a player and NPC PJ timer. So it has been added to the game, and in a bit of a background, in most parts of the wilderness, players who have been attacked by NPCs can't be attacked by other players. That's normally all fair and dandy, but issues can arise when players run into a field of NPCs and box them to unfairly gain protection against honest, hardworking PKers. So it should be fair to PKers as well. So the wilderness and single plus and adding PJ timer to those zones. However, following the feedback, they've opted to go a different solution that'll make the wilderness feel a bit more inviting. So they refer to the in-game timings as cycles. So each cycle equals 0.6 seconds. And sometimes there's a tick. So this means that whenever you attack something aggressive, monster players' opponents will be unable to hit you for the next 20 cycles, so 12 seconds. So player A, who has just finished PvP combat with B, NPCs won't be able to get into the action until the PJ timer runs out. So, and for those who like their wilderness combat just as it was, you'll be happy to hear that the new PJ timer is inactive on Worlds 318 and 319. So if you wish to get away from the timer, there is a way to do so. And then we have World 45 Dead Man will remain unaffected by those changes as well. So it's important to keep that in mind that there is some ways of getting around it. There is loot key improvements. So on the subject of the wilderness, they noticed that a lot of people have been giving feedback about the loot keys, and here is some slight changes introducing this week, which is firstly, loot chests have been added to the Grand Exchange, the Edgeville Bank, and the Mage Arena Bank. Secondly, they reduced the price of the keys to 1 million GP. For those of you who have purchased this option before today's update, upon login, you will receive the difference, so 4 million GP, sent straight to your bank. So, kind of interesting. So prior to this week's updates, when two players died, one after the other, and with loot keys enabled, the first player to die would have their loot converted to a key, which would then be handed to the second player to die. The second player would then generate a key within their own loot, thereby handing back both their own key and the key they just earned to the first player to die. If they died at the exact same time, the first player would be essentially randomly decided by the order in which the server processed the deaths. It's not exactly fair. So, they want to change that. So from now on, if you die to a player who is either in process of dying or died recently, any loot keys you have on your person will be destroyed. Your loot will drop to the floor regardless of the loot key settings of the other player. So happy hunting, be aware. Clan broadcast improvements and group Ironman notifications menu. So the following items have been added to the current loot broadcast systems, which is the Pharaoh's Scepter, the Bar's Loot, Amulet of Eternal Glory from the Fountain of Rune. Pet broadcasts will now include the KC and XP the pet was obtained. They also added more options which will allow to further customize their clan's level up notifications. So the new settings for the new collection log entries, new personal best, only appears after beating your current personal best. Player kills, so under the threshold set by the clan. When a clan member dies in PvP, completion of achievement diary tier, 10 million XP milestones above level 99. Hardcore deaths, this is the same setting, will announce the hardcore group Iron player loses a life even when their status doesn't change. Just keep in mind, hardcore groups, they do have multiple times where they can die, considering how things go with that. And that's not all. They also added the group Iron notifications menu, which you'll be allowed to toggle through. And as you can see here, there is quite a bit. There's notifications for PvP, PvM, notifications for skilling. This is in general for clan. So yeah, do check out, all the other types of settings. Now there is the other changes, which have Ironmen now have their own separate Kalphite Queen instance. It works exactly the same as the regular lair, just like other Ironman only instances throughout the game. They also added 2 braziers in the Kalphite's lair, one located near the shortcut, and the other is a safe spot away from the high-level Kalphite by the entrance. The birthday event has been removed, so see everybody next year for these. And remember to ski responsibly. I thought there was going to be a hint there for next year's. Player models will no longer be distorted when transforming into a goblin and then teleporting. Tweak the look of the Vesa room in the chambers of Zarek to make it look more organic. The layout and functionality remains the same. The ability to customize your character's foot shape was only offered at count creation, so they offer the ability to change it at yours' shoe store. You will now appear to be holding a barbarian fishing rod when fishing with a barbarian fishing rod. If you don't meet the requirements to make any of the Profindus singing bowl, you will now be shown the recipe book to help you identify the ingredients you lack. Justine's reward shop has discounted the Grover parchments to make them more accessible in future. Refunds will not be offered for parchments as they have been already used or purchased. Justine has to make a living, That's kind of weird. The Beekeeper now prioritizes granting custom costume pieces to players who don't have a full set, just like any other costume giving event. Trees near Profindus will now have stumps that match your size more accurately. Certain combat achievements, tasks now perform their checks correctly in the final phase of the alchemical Hydra fight, and fix spelling error in Troll Romance. And League's 3 rankings as of March 9th was Dragon rank of 47,650, Rune is 30,035, Adamant is 15,315, Mithril is 5,390, Steel is 1,655, and Iron is 480. PvP Rhoda has moved to period B, which is 560 UK PvP, 579 US high risk PvP, 561 UK free to play PvP, 580 US LMS competitive. World 390 AUS LMS competitive has been deactivated with this Rhoda. So that is potentially it for this week, guys. Now, I will say, if there is something that comes out tomorrow, I will make sure it gets uploaded, and especially at a much better time. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later, guys.